The Seleção might have found their savior. Carlo Ancelotti is expected to be named the new manager of the Brazil national team. According to Fabrizio Romano, Brazil expect Carlo Ancelotti to be ready to start new chapter as head coach at the beginning of June. Brazilian Federation are set to offer a record salary for the Italian coach, the best paid ever for the Seleção. Timing now depends on the Real Madrid exit process. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about it in many different ways. How is this going to benefit the Brazil national team? Is this the right hiring for them? And what should be the short-term success and long-term success with Carlo Ancelotti and Brazil? Because I'm not going to talk about with Real Madrid. Real Madrid, we can save it for another video when Real Madrid announced their new manager. Is this the right hiring? No doubt it is. What other manager from Brazil would you say, yeah, let's go hire him? Who? Felipe Luis at Flamengo? The dude had just started his managerial career. There is nothing to go with Felipe Luis at the moment. He's doing a fantastic job so far at Flamengo. It's too early for the Seleção job. Okay, you could talk about Jorge Jesus, who did a very good job with Flamengo. He has experience with many clubs, Benfica, Sporting. Now he's at Al Hilal. So maybe Jorge Jesus would have been a good option. But Carlo is the guy. I don't understand why people are dismissing this hiring. Who are you going to hire? Who, Dunga again? You want to go for Fernando Diniz again? Dunga has been terrible with Brazil. Felipe Luis Scolari, I think he's still managing. The dude might be like 80 years old, have like a walking cane with him. You're not going to hire him. We saw with Dorival Jr. And every Brazilian manager right now is simply not good enough. That's a Brazil problem. That's not Carlo's problem. So I don't understand why people are dismissing this hiring. Carlo has experience working with top-class players. Now, you could say this Brazil team is not the best quality of what we think a Brazil team should be. And yes, that is completely correct. Brazil are not the best team on paper. But no doubt about it, they are better than what they're playing right now. Dorival Jr. thought he could play open, expansive, no-pressing football against Argentina away with Joelinton in the midfield. And look what happened. 4-1. 4-1. So at least Carlo can bring some stability and some belief back to these players. I think when the players, they saw Dorival Jr., and we saw especially at the Copa America, remember when they had the penalty shootout against Uruguay, they didn't respect Dorival. At that moment, get rid of him. There is no reason why Dorival should be continuing. He continued, and look what happened. It got worse, got worse, got worse, and the only reason why they won a couple of games was individual talent and Vinny bailing them out against Colombia. Carlo is the right manager. Brazil need a leadership. They need a vocal point. Carlo is so good with man managing. You can talk about tactically, oh, he's not the greatest tactician in the history of football. Okay, yeah, we can agree on that part. But is international football about tactics? Do you see like, oh my God, look at Scaloni. No, Scaloni had to build a project that was so in the mud to bring it back to winning the World Cup. That's what Scaloni had to do. Baby steps, believing, building the project around Messi and finding the players that could work beautifully with Messi. And look what Argentina have done. Copa America, World Cup, another Copa America, Finalissima, and they're favorites right now to win the World Cup next year. So that's what Carlo has to do. He just needs to figure out what is the best 11 for this Brazil team. That's why I think Andre Santos from Strasbourg, he should be in the starting 11. Joelinton shouldn't be there. I don't think Bruno Guimaraes should be there. It's down now to Carlo to figure out the best 11 for Brazil and stick to it. Don't chop and change unless there's an injury. Just stick to the same guys over and over again. You could bring one or two players sometimes just to see how they will perform. And it's about bringing a belief back to these players with the Seleção. The Brazil national team is so in the mud right now. I mean, seriously, people, if you've been following this channel when I've been covering the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers, every window it's like, okay, when is Dorival going to get sacked? When is Dorival going to get sacked? Oh, is Vinicius going to step up? Is Rodrigo going to step up? If you compare this Brazil team to 2014, I still think this one is better on paper. Look at that team from 2014. Fred, Bernard, Hulk. Those were the sort of players that were starting for Brazil. This team has Vinicius, Rodrigo, Endrick, Matheus Cunha. There is good players for Brazil, but they now need to play a lot better. And I still think the fullbacks are the weakest point for this Brazil team, but hopefully Carlo can just figure out something. I just believe Carlo can do a very good job. He is one of the best managers in football history. Very successful in Milan, to Real Madrid. Yes, he had his stints at Bayern Munich and Napoli and Everton, where he didn't go the greatest. I mean, he did lead Napoli to a second place finish in Serie A, and obviously the next season it didn't go so well. And then him and ADL, yeah, ADL is crazy, as we all know. So I think Carlo has always been a good manager. Maybe he just needs to go to national team football and see how it works out. Maybe he just doesn't need that daily grind where now he can enjoy his life, he can have his vape, go to Copacabana Beach, and then when it gets close to the international break, then he can figure out what's the best 11, how do we tactically set up. This is the best possible hiring that the Seleção can do. At least Edinaldo now spends his money because the dude is corrupt, and I'm seeing links of Brazil with a red kit. What utter woke nonsense is a red kit with Brazil? Edinaldo should be gone ASAP, by the way. So yes, this is the best hiring possible for Brazil. And now the short-term success is, well, one, to qualify for the World Cup, even though Brazil will qualify for the World Cup. But two, I don't think they should be having aspirations to win the World Cup next year. Yes, it is Brazil, and they should always have those expectations. But we have seen how bad they have been the past year. Are they drastically going to change and be world beaters and win the World Cup? I mean, they got the talent to do so, but I just don't believe it. I just look at the likes of England, Germany, I look at Spain, Argentina. Like, these teams are miles better than Brazil right now. But Brazil got time. Carlo has time. He can now get a taste of CONMEBOL football. When Carlo, in his first game in charge, goes to Quito, smokes his vape, and gets a crazy head rush from the altitude, that's going to be Carlo's welcome to CONMEBOL moment. He's going to be like, what on earth did I sign up for? And then he's going to look at Moises Caicedo, Gonzalo Plata, the GOAT, Ener Valencia just running past all the Brazil defenders because of the altitude, and two, because Ecuador are a good team. So I think it's going to take some time for Carlo with Brazil, and I already know what the narrative's going to be. Those first two games, I think it's Ecuador away and Paraguay at home. Oh my God. Those are two tough games to begin for Carlo. And if they lose those opening two games under Carlo, the narrative's going to be, oh my God, Brazil, Carlo's a fraud, this nonsense. It takes time. It takes time, people. There is not going to be an immediate fix with this Brazil team. That's why I expect it's going to be a little bit of a struggle at the beginning, but then maybe by December, next year, March, we're going to see Brazil playing better football. We're going to see a much more cohesive team, and maybe the stars will finally shine. And right now, the goal for next year when it comes to the World Cup is the semifinal. That's the goal right there. The long-term aspirations is to win the World Cup in 2030, win the next Copa America, because that's what Brazil should be doing with the talent they have. It's still a young team. They still got young ballers like the Vini, Rodrigo, Endrick. So they have a lot of good players. Estevao now emerging even more and more. Now that you hire Carlo, I expect better performances from Vini. I expect better performances from Bruno Guimaraes to Rodrigo. Now, all this talk, okay, Dorival's bad. Okay, Fernando Diniz is bad. Okay, this guy's bad. That guy's bad. All right, players, you got Carlo, one of the best managers in football right now. No more talking. Now it's time to perform if you are the players. This is your last lifeline. If you don't perform under Carlo, especially if you're Vini and Rodrigo, I don't know what to say. I really don't, because I look at other players and they could do a lot better right now. Luis Enrique, who was great at Botafogo, had a good spell with the Seleção. I didn't even see him get called up last window. This guy should be getting more opportunities because he's a baller for Zenit St. Petersburg right now. Overall, this is the right move for Brazil. And hopefully they can turn a corner. They're not going to be world beaters immediately, people. They're still going to go through some bumps. And I'm telling you, those first two games for Carlo, when he goes to CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers, away to Quito and home to Paraguay, oh man, it's going to be a real wake-up call to Carlo and these players. We're still not that team. But they got time. They got time until the World Cup. Remember in 2002? 2001, it wasn't going so well. The World Cup qualifiers were a disaster for Brazil. Then they hired Felipe Luis Scolari. What did they do the next year? They win the World Cup. Now, granted, they had players like Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Ronaldo. They had an amazing team. This team cannot compare to that team, but this team still have talent. They got to show it, though. But imagine, people, next year's World Cup, we're going to see Nagelsmann, Thomas Tuchel, Carlo Ancelotti. That World Cup is going to be special. It's going to be tough for Carlo, but I think he is the right man for this job. I would love to see what other manager you would say in the comments down below. Oh, Michael, they should hire Felipe Luis. Really? From Flamengo. Right now? No. Carlo is the guy. Okay, the dream, if you want to go crazy, would also be Jurgen Klopp. He's not taking the Brazil national team. Carlo, I think he kind of understands Brazilian footballers. He's managed Kaká. He's managed so many brilliant Brazilian players. Hopefully, he can bring that sort of belief and individual quality to the players, and they can shine when it comes to the World Cup next year and with the rest of CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think Carlo is the right hiring for the Seleção right now? What should be the short-term success and what should be the long-term success with Carlo as the manager? Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Remember to follow me on all the socials, links to those, description down below. But have a beautiful day, stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time, adios.